shortly. Please stand by. The webinar will begin shortly. Please stand by. The webinar will begin shortly.
Hello, welcome to today's webinar, how to stop applying for jobs and get hired instantly. Hopefully you guys are seeing me up on your webcam. I wanted to personally welcome you to the webinar. I'm so glad you're here today. In a moment, I'm going to take the webcam down so that I can focus on the presentation. After the presentation, we will come back up on live webcam for me to answer your questions and answers with the time that we have left. So I want to welcome all of you. I do see many of you in chat. I see Danette and Jeff and Paul and Roland, and I'm so happy to see all of you here. I won't be able to watch chat and do the presentation at the same time. I kind of get messed up when I do that, so I won't be looking at chat right now. I'll be focusing on the presentation, but I am so glad you're here. Welcome to the webinar. Let's get started. Okay, welcome to today's webinar, Stop Applying for Jobs and Get Hired Instantly. I am Peggy McKee. I am a recruiter, a career coach, the published author with books on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and the CEO of Career Confidential. Now, through Career Confidential, we've helped more than 16,000 people in over 90 countries get hired with aggressive go-getter tips that truly set you apart. Now, we reach out through our material on Amazon.com, Audible.com. We have apps on iTunes and Google Play, our blog, our website, and free webinars like this. I'm going to share with you the very best information you'll ever hear about how to get a job, how to stop wasting your time applying for jobs that don't result in interviews, and instead find employers who are excited to speak with you. Now, I highly advise that you close out everything but this webinar. Close Facebook, turn off Twitter, close other browser windows, and make sure you won't have any interruptions, because we're going to cover a lot of ground here today and give you a ton of good information that will make a big difference for you. Now, I'm going to teach and train you for over an hour, maybe right under an hour, hopefully. After that, I'm going to give you an opportunity for some additional training, and then we'll go to our live Q&A where I'll take questions from the audience and answer those live up on webcam. At the end of the presentation, I will choose 10 lucky winners to receive a 1-hour free group coaching call with me. You must be present at the end of the webinar to win, and we will notify those winners by email. Now, let me show you how to participate with this webinar. You may not be familiar with this console. It's a little bit different. On the right-hand side, you'll see the tabs. The most important tabs are the chat, the polls, and the pop-ins. Now, in the chat, many of you are already writing your notes there and telling us where you're from and what kind of job you're looking for, and I'm glad to see that. In the polls tab, that's where I'm going to ask you some questions, get to know you a little bit more. And then in the pop-ins tab, that's where we're going to give you your free gifts. If you happen to hear multiple voices, you need to check your browser tabs. You may have more than one instance of the webinar playing. Now, for the first thing, let's go ahead and get you your free gift for attending. I'm going to give you my e-report, how to write attention-getting cover letters. Cover letters are very important. This e-report has samples in it. It's very, very helpful. You can download it by following the instructions on the screen. Go over to the pop-ins tab. And when you get there, you'll see the Download Now button, and you can open that up, and it'll open up in another browser, and you can come back to that, or another tab in your browser. You can come back to that when the webinar's over. Now, let's go ahead and get started with asking you a question. I want to know, do you have multiple interviews scheduled in the next 4 weeks? Do you have multiple interviews scheduled in the next 4 weeks? Now, the way that you answer this is you go to the polls tab. When you click on that, Carl Chapman, my partner who's running the our webinar platform for us today, will put up the questions. Now, you've got three choices there. You can say, no, I do not have any interviews scheduled in the next 4 weeks. You can say, no, I only have one interview scheduled in the next 4 weeks, or you can say, yes, I have multiple interviews. So click on the button that's most appropriate for you. Click the vote button, because if you don't do that, I don't get your vote. It is anonymous. Don't worry, we give it out as a statistic. And hit the vote button, and we'll have those results for you here in just a moment. Now, the interview is the key leading indicator of a potential offer. And you got to have quite a few of them, somewhere between 5 and 10, to know that you're going to get an offer. Now, the reasons that we see why people aren't getting interviews, there's 3 of them. 1, your cover letter isn't strong. It's not compelling them to read your resume. For most of you, your resume isn't as strong as it should be. It's not communicating your value. It's not making them want to call you for an interview. And many of you are spending your time applying online, which is a time-sucking event that doesn't get you interviews, because your information is getting in front of HR and not in front of your boss or your boss's boss, the hiring manager. So these are the 3 reasons why we see folks not getting the interviews that they need in order to get the offers that they want. Carl, are you able to give us the results of the poll? What do the folks say? Do they have multiple interviews scheduled in the next 4 weeks or not? Okay, it looks like 5% do, 95% do not. So this is a big opportunity for you guys, because you need to have more than one interview scheduled so that you know that you're going to get some offers, right? This is a big issue for almost every job seeker. It causes all kinds of pain and frustration and rejection, but we're going to turn that into success here for you today. There's no reason why you can't be wildly successful in your job search. I'll show you how right now. Now, you can't get an interview without a great resume, so we're going to talk about that first, how you can have a killer resume. Then I'm going to show you how to find great jobs in your space, whatever that is, and how to get in front of the hiring manager. Remember, the hiring manager is your boss or your boss's boss. And there's no point getting an interview if you're not going to crush it and get the offer. So we'll talk about, and I will show you how to be your absolute best in every interview, and you will stand out head and shoulders from everyone else in that for that job. Now, all of this will work together to give you the best possible advantage that you can have in your job search. You will not be like everyone else. You will finally know how to make things happen in your job search, and you will get hired. Now, most job seekers think that you have to spend time on Monster or Career Builder or any online job board looking for job listings, then following their instructions and applying for those jobs, and then waiting, right? The system is established and you don't want to buck it. But guess what? You're afraid they might get mad and not hire you if you go around the system, but they are already not hiring you. This isn't working for you now. You're not getting phone calls. You're not getting offers. You're not getting interviews. 95% of you don't have more than one interview. So all of that time that you've spent on those applications is not working for you. What's happening is you're spending time on that, and it's killing your chance to get really noticed and to get a real interview. Albert Einstein said that the definition of insanity was to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So why does applying for jobs not work? Because it's insane. When you apply for a job, you almost always apply online. What does that mean? If you've seen it, 1,000 others have seen it. By the way, your application goes into a company database, and if you happen to have the right terms, Human Resources is the person who will see that resume, and they won't see how you can fit if you don't have the perfect wording. And you're not in front of the hiring manager, who's actually the most motivated person and the person who can see the transferable skill sets. So I hope you notice something here. The reasons that this isn't working for you don't have anything to do with you or how well you do your job or what kind of an employee you are. It's the system that you're operating in. So do not worry if you've been doing this and you haven't had success. Today is your lucky day. I'm going to show you how to turn this around. Now, there are 3 areas that will help get this done for you. We need to talk about your resume. It needs to sell you. Then we need to talk about how you'll get interviews and how many interviews you will get, and then how well you do in those interviews. So let's start with that resume piece. The vast majority of job seekers do not have a good resume. I recently held a 1,000-person resume webinar, and I had 250 resumes sent to me. Out of that whole group, there were only 2 that didn't have critical mistakes that would hold them back. So I'm guessing most everyone here could use a little help making their resume sell themselves. Now, most people look at the resume as a job history, list out what the jobs they've had, and think that's good. That's not good. The resume is first and foremost, everybody should get this, it's a marketing document. It's what the employer sees first, and it's what they will use to decide whether or not to call you in for an interview. So your resume has to sell you for the job. It has to market you. You can't make things up. You do have to have your previous jobs on there. But here's the key. The key is in how you present that information as to whether it is an ineffective job history or an effective marketing document. Okay? The three biggest mistakes I see people making in their resumes are in the objective statement, the bullet points, and the quantification of accomplishments. I'm going to bet you have at least one of these two, so let's talk about this. Objective statements. You'll see advice telling you not to include this. That advice is wrong. You must have an objective statement. Why? Because you can't control who's going to see the resume. Are they going to be able to tell what department it should go to without a doubt? The objective should say what job you're most interested in. This also sets the resume in context for them to read the resume in the right context. A good objective statement will also tell that hiring manager why you're going to make their life easier. And it's a fantastic place to add keywords to your resume so that it will get pulled up in the company databases. And we talked about this, all right? The trick here is to use the same keywords that the company uses. A lot of companies will use same job, different terminology. Lean, Six Sigma, continuous improvement, all close to the same thing. You need to know which one your company would be using. You can usually get this from the job description. Now here's a little bonus for you. If you don't have the exact experience, you can still put in your objective seeking a position as X. And X is whatever the job title is, which actually gives you the keyword, which will get your resume pulled up. Your objective statement will sell you for the job. It's like a headline or an elevator pitch. Here's an example of an effective objective statement. Accounting manager seeks a role that will utilize her industry experience and leadership skills. Now I chose this so that you could see how yours would fit within this. Accounting, that's the kind of job, right? We've got leadership there, industry, you could change that if it's medical, if it's retail, if it's consumer goods, if it's oil and gas, whatever, we could put that in here, and that would get the attention of the CFO or other hiring manager who needs someone like her. It explains what she does, and she uses the statement to sell herself. Your objective doesn't have to be like this exactly, but it would sell you well if it would serve you well, I should say, if it tells who you are, what you want, and highlights one or two of your best selling points. The selling quality of a good objective is going to serve you so much better than a summary does. Summaries don't sell you, they just summarize what's down below. It leaves the reader to guess as to what you might do for them and why they might want to call you. Now the next thing that kills resumes is a lack of bullet points. Because if you don't have bullet points, you've got big old paragraphs there, right? Next slide. Big paragraphs don't get read. Bullet points make it more attractive. This is a marketing document, so it's about advertisement, right? Advertisement needs to be attractive. Bullet points give you white space, draw your eye, and catch your attention. Also, they're bite-sized pieces. That's what bullet points are. They're faster and easier to read. Much more likely to get read by that hiring manager. They're very busy. They're not going to read a big old paragraph. Okay, you could have the winning lottery number stuck in that paragraph. They won't even see it. They're going to miss vital information about you that they need in order to know that they need to call you in. Bullet points communicate better than paragraphs. Now each job that you've had should have bullet points under the title that describe what you did in that job. Don't say responsible for X, Y, and Z. Bullet points should explain what you accomplished in that job, not what you were responsible for. Because you could have been responsible for a lot of things, right? Not done them well. Say what you did and use action words. Managed team, led campaign, organized project, improved efficiency, reduced turnover, won award. See, these are action words, specific, achievement-oriented, powerful, energetic ways to sell yourself. Now this brings us to the third piece of the resume improvement that you can really make a big difference on, and that is quantification. I want every one of you to write down a number sign, a dollar sign, and a percentage sign, because I want you to quantify your accomplishments in terms of numbers, dollars, or percentages. This is the #1 place where you can make your resume pop and shine. This one thing alone could get you interviews. It makes a world of difference in how your resume represents you. Now you may not think that you can quantify. Maybe you think only folks in sales can quantify. Well, that is not true. There's a lot of different things that you can quantify. How many direct reports you had, production numbers, project budgets, how big a budget, schedules, how on time were you, turnover rate, how many projects, cost of projects, accuracy, rankings, sales. Now rankings, let's talk about that. That's not just sales. You could be ranked in customer service, in production, and in sales. You could even be ranked on, mean time between failure of product and things like that. Revenue, customer numbers, procedures that improve something. How did you affect those things in your role? Did you increase or decrease the numbers? Did you save time? Did you increase efficiency? What did you improve? What did you contribute? Any way that you contributed to revenue, growth, or profit for the company can and should be described using numbers, dollars, or percentages. Let me show you how powerful this can be. Look at the difference between these two things. And actually, Charity, just go ahead and put all three of them. I think there's 3 on here, because I think it's so powerful to look at these all together. On the left, we've got our responsible for statements. On the right, we're using an action word, which is very powerful and descriptive, and we're using numbers. Numbers like this are incredibly impressive to hiring managers. They sell you. I think that you can probably see that just by looking at this graph. So this brings me to my next poll question for you guys, and that is, if your resume grabbed the attention of the hiring manager, would you get more interviews? Carl's already put those questions up there, so you can say yes, I would, or no, it would not. Be sure and click the vote button, or we won't get your results there. Now, as a recruiter, I've been recruiting for 15 years in the medical sales, management, and marketing. And I have candidates where I can guarantee them an interview even before I present the resume to the company. Yet I still go back and I make them add numbers, dollars, and percentages. And if they have those big paragraphs, I make them take those out and put in bullet points. Why do you think I do that? If I know that I have a guaranteed interview, why do I go to the trouble to do that? That's an interesting question, right? Carl, are you able to give us the results of the poll? What do the folks say? If the resume grabbed the attention of the hiring manager, would they get more interviews? Oh, 100%. All right. Man, we must have the A birds in here. The blue birds are in this class. That's perfect. You're absolutely right. It would work. And that is why I add and make those guys add numbers, dollars, and percentages and use bullet points, even though I can guarantee them an interview. Why? Because it's going to set a bias with the hiring manager, and my candidate will actually come in with a more positive expectation of them. And that's what you need to do every time you send your resume to someone. You want to set a positive bias for yourself by doing these things. Now, one more example of this numbers, dollars, and percentages versus no numbers, dollars, and percentages. Here is a couple bullet points like you might see on a person's resume with the numbers, dollars, and percentages. Now look at this next slide. Same exact information, no numbers. Which one would catch your attention? I guarantee it's the numbers one. Probably how come they have a lot of numbers, dollars, and percentages in advertisements, right? Where they say 9 out of 10 doctors or 47% or whatever, right? So that brings me to another poll question that I want to ask you, and that is, would you like specific training, resume templates that include all of these key elements that we've talked about here, and for me to personally review your resume to make sure that it's an interview magnet? Now you got a couple choices here. You can say yes, I want a better resume that gets more interviews. You can say no, I can do it on my own and do not need the review, or no, I'm getting all the interviews that I need to get a job now. Click on the one that's most appropriate for you. Again, click that vote button or we don't get your result. And I'll tell you guys a little story while we wait on you guys to answer those questions. Now, we review resumes from around the world. Most of our clients are in the United States, the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Dubai, Nigeria, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, just to name a few. And like we said, more than 90 countries. Now, I cannot speak all of those languages. If your resume is in English, I can absolutely review that. If it's in another language, you may need to use some kind of a translator tool before you can send it in to me to review. I can probably tell you if format and numbers are right, but I probably need it in English to do a better job than that. But the one thing I want to tell you, though, is the job of the resume is the same in every country and in every language, and that is to get you that interview discussion. So if your resume isn't getting you that discussion, you need to fire it and get a new one, right? So Carl, what do the folks say? Are they interested in the specific training? Let's see. 78% are interested, yes, would like to have a better resume that gets more interviews. 6% are getting all the interviews that they need. That's excellent. And 16% think they can do it on their own, don't need the review. That's absolutely perfect. So 78% do and would appreciate the review, and I'll let you know at the end of the webinar how we can get that done. Now, once you get your resume where it needs to be, you need to get it in front of the person who needs to see it. Who is that person? Well, that would be the hiring manager. And who would be your hiring manager? Now, I've asked Charity to put this slide together here to try to help you with this. So depending on where you fall here, this is going to give you a good idea of who your hiring manager might be. If you're in accounting, you could report to the director of accounting or the accounting manager, possibly the CFO. If you're in sales, look, there's a number of different titles that you might report to. If you're in marketing, you might report to a VP of marketing, director of marketing, maybe a senior product manager if you're an associate product manager. And if you're in customer service, probably going to report to customer service, maybe to a VP of sales and marketing. If you're an engineer, you might report to the director of engineering or the VP of R&D. Maybe if you're in science, if you're a scientist, you might report to a principal investigator, VP of R&D, might be a division manager. IT can be all over the place. Could report to IT, could report to VP of Technology, but I've actually seen IT people installed in specific divisions to support those divisions, so you might report to one of those guys too. If you don't get your resume to the hiring manager, you won't get the results, which means you spend a lot of time applying for jobs and you don't ever hear back. Now you might start thinking, what's wrong with you? But there's nothing wrong with you. Your problem is you haven't gotten in front of the hiring manager. You're stuck in HR. Now you might say, well, Peggy, I thought HR's job was to find people for the hiring manager to interview. Why wouldn't they look at my resume and pass it along? Well, remember I told you they're looking for a perfect resume. Do you have a big gap on yours? That might be why they're not passing it along. Can they see the exact keywords they're looking for? That could cause you a problem. Maybe you don't have the exact experience. Maybe they can't see clearly that you're interested in this kind of a job because you don't have an objective. So to get past them, you've got to get to the hiring manager. When you get your resume in front of the hiring manager, you get to the person who understands this job the very best and can see how your skills could transfer. And this person is also the most motivated person to fill the job because they've got the pain and they have the power to say yes. You see, HR can't say yes. They can only say no. So skip them. You don't need them for gatekeeper. So how do you find these hiring managers? Well, you research them. You look them up on Facebook and Google and LinkedIn and Spoke and Zing and Jigsaw and corporate websites and directories and associations, anywhere you can. Okay? It's not as easy as if you were finding the jobs on job boards, but you will be so much better off in the end. The key here for everyone, the key here is to find those hiring managers who might be a potential boss for you and then contact them whether or not you have a job posted. Now, I hope you got that. It's not relevant whether or not there is a job opening for this particular company or for this hiring manager. Now, why am I saying that? Well, because at any given time, the majority of jobs, more than 50%, are not posted for many different reasons. We looked up the hidden job market on Google, and what we saw here was Forbes is saying 80% of the jobs never get posted. AOL is saying 50% of the jobs don't get posted, and LinkedIn is saying 70% of the jobs aren't getting posted. What this means is there are 2 times as many job openings out there as you know about right now. And the only way that you can get in front of 100% of those jobs is to contact hiring managers you find and then put yourself in front of the line of others, because other job seekers will not know about these jobs yet and be in front of these hiring managers. They're going to continue to apply online. So to crack the hidden job market, all you do is choose hiring managers who could be your boss at a place you'd like to work for, and you say, hey, here I am, this is what I do, this is what I could do for you. Are you interested? Now that might seem bold or scary, but it's actually easier than it seems, and the truth is there's no better way for you to find all of the hidden jobs, and unless you ask, you won't find them, and these jobs are fantastic. Now, if you contact enough hiring managers, something even better happens. You start to win the job search numbers game. Everything has to do with numbers, right? What's the job search numbers game? Well, it works like this. If you contact 20 managers, you may hear back from 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 if you're lucky. That is statistically how it works. Now, if you contact 200, you'll hear back from 10 or 20 of them. Now, wouldn't it be better to be speaking to 20 hiring managers than just 2? These are the odds for finding a great job that you'll be happy with. The more you contact, the more interviews you will get. Now, this leads me to another poll question. I want to know what you think about this, contacting 100 plus hiring managers. This is a little different. You might not have thought about this. Do you agree that if you were to contact 100 plus hiring managers, you would have more interviews? In a moment here, Carl will put up our poll question here. Hold on just a second. Okay, do you agree that if you contacted 100 plus hiring managers, would you have more interviews? Okay, so the poll is there. You got a couple different choices. You can say yes, but I don't know how to find them. You can say yes, but I don't know what to say to them. You can say yes, I would, or no, I would not. Be sure and click the vote button because, again, I won't be able to see those results unless you do. Now, I had a very aggressive candidate hire me to coach him. I do one-on-one individual coaching. In fact, I'll ask Carl to put in the pop-ins tab a link to my one-on-one coaching. Now, I charge $250 an hour, but this is very fast, very personal job search and career success. So I have a lot of people hire me for different things. This particular individual came to me because he had been looking for a job for 4 months and he'd only gotten one offer. He had applied to 45 positions. When I asked him how many managers he thought he was in front of, he said, well, I applied to 45 positions. I know I was in front of 5 because I interviewed with them, and I'm figuring maybe another 5 more, so maybe 10 managers altogether. And so I said, well, what if in this last 4.5 months, instead of only getting in front of 10 managers, you would have gotten in front of 100 managers? And he said, well, that's easy. I would have had 10 times the conversation, 10 times the offers, 10 times the choices. And so that is what I went on to work with him and coach him on, is how to get in front of hundreds of hiring managers. Now that will really make a difference in your job search. Let's go see what you guys think about that, though. I'm going to go over to the polls tab. Carl, if you could give us the results, what do the folks think? If you were to get in contact 100 plus hiring managers, would you have more interviews? Hey, man, we've got a brilliant crowd this morning because they all say, yes, we would. And you are absolutely right. If you were in front of 100 plus hiring managers, you would have more interviews and you would have more offers. So this is the beauty. I'm so glad that you guys get that. My candidate that I was coaching, and if you are interested in that one-on-one coaching, you can click on the pop-ins tab and click on the check it out to learn more about that one-on-one coaching. This candidate, he was blown away when I showed him how to do this. He said, you know, I didn't know you could do this. I didn't know how to do this. I can't believe it. What a difference this makes. This changes everything. So I'm so happy to hear that you guys see this, because it makes a big difference. So when you proactively contact hiring managers by the dozens or even hundreds, it's going to take less time and it's going to get you more interviews than weeks or even months or years of filling out those applications. Now, I've seen this happen over and over again. Candidates from all kinds of career fields, all levels of experience in all parts of the world. Now, if you wonder if this effort is worth it, let me remind you, if you were to even get a job just 1 month faster, think about the thousands of dollars you could put in your pocket. If you usually make $30,000 a year and you get a job just 4 weeks sooner, guess what? That's $2,500 for you. And if you usually make $60,000 a year and you're able to shave 4 weeks off your job search, that's an additional $5,000 in your bank account. And if you usually make $120,000 a year, you're going to get an additional check for $10,000. Where's our slides? Just by Where's our slide? Sorry. I guess I was ahead of our slide gal. Okay, so just by getting a job 4 weeks sooner at $120,000 a year, that's a check for 10 grand by shaving 1 month off the job search. Now, in reality, the typical job search lasts about 6 to 9 months, so you could spend a lot more time in the job search. Now, folks who use this strategy that I just outlined to you, where you contact those hiring managers directly, they end up getting a job in just a month or 2 at most. So you could put maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times that number in your pocket by using this strategy. This kind of benefit is worth you using every resource you need to put your hands on to do whatever you've got to do, even if it feels uncomfortable, because you need to get that job. Now, This brings us to the third piece because I want to talk to you about this. You need to crush your interviews. Crushing your interviews means to overwhelm you with the amazing qualities and you're fit for the job so much that they absolutely give you the offer. Once you have an interview, I want you to crush it and own it. You don't get very many interviews in today's environment. We cannot throw not even one of these away. So crushing the interview requires that you do a couple different things. You've got to answer the 4 critical concerns that every hiring manager has, right? And then you've got to clarify that you've communicated what you needed to and ask for the next step. Now, these 2 things are communication issues, and good interviews come down to the quality of your communication. So let's hit this first one, the 4 critical concerns that every hiring manager has. Do you understand the job? Can you do the job? Will you do the job? Or do you pose a risk to his or her own continued employment? Now, these are risk assessment questions. The first 2 questions will speak to your knowledge, ability, and skill sets, right? The third question is different. It could be a work ethic or a focus issue. You could have all the knowledge and ability in the world, but if you're unwilling to work hard or you can't focus, it won't matter. The fourth question is possibly the most important one of all. Their reputation is on the line when they hire someone. Their bosses need to know that you have the judgment to choose a person who can get these things done. If they don't get done or they do them poorly, the blame will rest on them and their job is at risk. They will not ask you these 4 questions outright, but you must answer them to their satisfaction or they will not hire you. The best way ever to address the unspoken concerns and answer these questions is to bring a tool with you to the interview called the 30, 60, 90-day plan. A 30, 60, 90-day plan is a written outline of the tasks and goals for the first 3 months on the job. Every job has critical tasks that must be accomplished in order to be successful. A 30, 60, 90-day plan will list out those tasks so that the hiring manager knows that you know what those are and what needs to be done. Now, the first days hold on here. The first days are usually focused on training or learning the systems of the culture. The next 30 days are concentrating on getting more involved in doing things on your own. And those last 30 days are where you start to make significant contributions to the company on your own, either by bringing in more work if you're in sales or in a project management or whatever else your area is. The more specific that you can be to your job, to your area, and to this company, the better off you are. For example, if you could talk about the training that they might put you through, let's say that they use a certain type of software, a CRM software, you could put that in your plan. Now, you might have guessed putting a plan like this together takes a lot of research, and since you have to bring it to the interview before you've even gotten the job, it's a little bit difficult, right? But guess what? Every single second of the effort is worth it because it will so impress the hiring manager and answer those 4 critical questions. It will show that you understand the job even if you've never done anything like it before, because you're talking about the tasks of the job and what the most critical things are that you need to do to be successful. It will show that you can do the job because you've listed out the specific tasks and how you're going to handle those, and that you will do the job because you've just spent a few hours putting together this in-depth marketing document for him so that he can see how you would approach the job. That right there is the most vivid demonstration that you are someone who has the energy, the motivation, and the willingness to do whatever it takes to be successful. This will speak to your work ethic in the strongest, most powerful way. So by putting the plan together, you will eliminate every risk factor in the hiring manager's mind one by one. I want to share with you how powerful these plans can be. I want you to learn about Derek. Derek had been out of a job for 5 years. His wife had died unexpectedly and he'd stayed home with his young children. Okay, so for 5 years. So if you have a big gap on your resume, Derek did too. And he was having a hard time getting interviews. When he went to the interview, even though he could have done the job with his eyes closed, it wasn't going well. So before his last interview, he purchased the 30, 60, 90-day plan from Career Confidential. And even though he didn't get that job, the hiring manager said, I was the best prepared candidate he'd ever seen. They would be mad to let him go. So they invited him back for an interview for a more senior role. And again, he took the 30, 60, 90-day plan. He got the job, which, by the way, that would have been great. But this was for a bigger role for more money. This is all with a big gap in his employment. So look what we learn here from Derek. He's interviewing for a job he could have done with his eyes closed. He's qualified for it. He performed so badly he didn't get the job. He takes the 30, 60, 90-day plan. That's the only thing he changes. Doesn't change his background, doesn't change his experiences, just the way that he demonstrates what he'll do for the job. They loved him. They created a position for him, a bigger job, more money. Wow. So not only did he get the job, which in itself that would be enough, but he got one with greater responsibility and more money. So the story shows us that the plan helps you communicate more effectively with the hiring manager. It says, hey, I've thought a lot about how I could be successful in this job. I've put together this outline, and I want to talk it over with you. And as you go through them, you'll ask questions, and you'll get input, and you'll discuss. Just like in this picture of the slide, you'll be speaking to the hiring manager about a common problem. You'll be having a conversation and building rapport. You'll be on the same team. Now, when you have a conversation like this, he visualizes you working for him or her, and that gets you a long ways toward the offer. Visualization is a powerful technique. We see it all the time in sales. When you go to buy a car, what do? They don't talk to you about the car. They want to get you into the driver's seat and take you for a test drive. Now, they'll talk about certain things like style or functionality or gas mileage to find out what's important to you, and then they'll only talk about those things that are important for you. So when you discuss your plan with the hiring manager, you'll be doing the same thing. You'll be helping him or her take you for a test drive, visualize you in the job. So based on what I've talked here about, I want to know what you guys think. I'm going to go back over here to the polls tab, have Carl put up our next poll. If you brought a detailed, comprehensive 30, 60, 90-day plan to your interview, would you get more offers? Now you got a couple different choices here. You can say yes, but I don't know how to put one of these together, or yes, but I don't know how to present one of these, or yes, and I'm bringing it to my interviews already, or no. Okay, and click on the vote button. Again, I don't get to see your answer if you don't hit the vote, and let's see what you guys think about this 30, 60, 90-day plan. I had a very, very vivid lesson about this 30, 60, 90-day plan as a recruiter. I had a special situation where I had a candidate going into an interview in Southern California where I knew everybody that was a part of this. I knew all of the candidates, even though I had my candidate, and she was the best. I thought I had this job in the bag, right? And I knew the manager, knew all the HR folks, knew everybody. But after the interviews, the manager called me and told me, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and go with this other candidate, not yours. And I was like, why? And he said, well, this other candidate brought this 30, 60, 90-day plan to the interview, and we were able to see how she would fit into the job better than we could with the other candidates. So this is the reason why you've always got to bring a plan to your first face-to-face interview, because if you don't, you run the risk of having an inferior candidate out-communicate you and communicate their value better than you do and get the offer. So let's go see what you guys think. Do you think if you brought a detailed, comprehensive 30, 60, 90-day plan to the interview, would you get more offers? So only 3% are saying no, so that's pretty good. And we've got 13% who are bringing it already. Fantastic. Congratulations. Way to go. I love you. You're doing good things for yourself. You're going to reap great rewards for that. And it looks like we've got a big opportunity for about 82% of you guys. I'm not sure if that's the right math or not, but more than 80% of you guys can make a difference right now in how well you interview and how many offers you get just by bringing the 30, 60, 90-day plan to the interview. So that's fantastic. Now, when you bring the plan, the hiring manager will get an up-close look at your critical thinking skills, your knowledge, your drive, your energy, your enthusiasm for the job, all of these things that will not fit on your resume but still could have a major impact on how they think of you as a candidate, right? Now, the questions that you ask while you discuss the plan will help you clarify that you're communicating what you need to do in order to get the job. You say, I thought I would get this training. Is that right? I thought if I tackled this first, it would make it easier to do X later. Do you agree? Does this make sense? Or would you like me to elaborate further? Am I on the same page as to what you were thinking? Do I have this right? The answers that you'll get to this kind of question will give you big clues about what your hiring manager is most interested in. If they're interested in X, you don't talk about Y, you talk about X. That's the kind of valuable information that you can get out of this conversation, and you will perform so much better in your interview because of it. Now, Here's the very best question that you can ask because you brought that 30, 60, 90-day plan. You could say, Mr. Manager or Ms. Manager, if I were to do all of the things that I outlined here for you on this 30, 60, 90-day plan, do you agree that I would be wildly successful in this job? Now, see, that's a closing question. It's a game changer. It will boost your chances of getting the offer by about 30 to 40%. If they say yes, you'll know that you did well in the interview. If they say no, you'll get to address their objection before you leave the interview. So that I've seen this save job offers many, many times. So I know this is a little bit different, but let's go, and I want to ask you guys a question now that you've thought about the 30, 60, 90-day plan. I want to know, would you like specific training on how to make a 30, 60, 90-day plan that would include coaching, video coaching from me, and my personal review of your finished plan? Okay, I've got a couple choices there. You can say yes, the training and review will make my plan much better. No, I can do it on my own and do not need you to review my plan. Or no, I don't think the plan will work. So I just want to know what you think. Hit the vote button and we will gather that information here in just a moment. Now, the quality and the construction of your plan matters. Sometimes I have people, they'll come to me and they'll say, well, I took a 30, 60, 90-day plan to the interview and it didn't work for me. And my first question is, did you take the Career Confidential plan? And when they say no, I say, great, let me see what you sent. Now, there's really two errors that happen here. Sometimes the folks will have a very bad plan. Maybe it'll only have like 20 lines to it, and it actually will sabotage that person. Or they'll say that they've got a 30, 60, 90-day plan, but it's really kind of a 10-page Why You Should Hire Me book, which doesn't work the same. It doesn't get you that visualization of you working on the problem together, and it doesn't let them see you in each part of that interaction, right? So, in my opinion, you can't take a chance of going into an interview without the very best plan that you can get your hands on that's proven to work, and with the expert review to make sure that you, when you're stepping foot into that interview, you're ready to go. So I review plans for job seekers just like I review resumes, and it makes a big difference. Sometimes you just need to have someone look at what you're doing who has an outside perspective and insider knowledge, and a quick check by me might be what will get you the best job of your life. So Carl, what are the results? What do the folks say? Do they want this specific training on the 30, 60, 90-day plan? So 79% are saying absolutely would like that, know that it would make it better, know that it would get me more offers. 14% are saying, hey, I think I can do this on my own, and 6% do not think it will work. Okay. Now, I have never ever gone to the interview without a 30, 60, 90-day plan because I've seen too many times what a risk there is if you go without one. Pete Carr was a gentleman that had 30 years of experience in his area, had plenty of interviews but wasn't getting the offer. When he took the Career Confidential 30, 60, 90-day plan to his last interview, not only did they hire him, they hired him for a job a level above the one he interviewed for. Jesse said that he felt like the undefeated champion of the world before he even got to the interview. Now, he also received a higher position than the one he applied for, and it had a higher salary. Derek, remember him? He was a gentleman who wasn't getting any offers. He was having a hard time getting interviews, but he was having a hard time in those interviews as well. He was the gentleman with a 5-year gap, and he was able to impress them so much that they created a position for him. And we had a brand new college grad who used this, and they actually liked his plan so much that the company used this for a training program for all new hires into the role that they were hiring him into. So actually, they wouldn't have hired him except for they could see how he could train himself, literally. So these plans are that impressive. They elevate your game. They elevate your interview conversation. They elevate you as a candidate. And when they make you an offer, you'll have more power to negotiate and get a higher salary. And think about the fact that all of your raises from now on will be based on a percentage of the salary that you get at the start of this job. So this one action right here will affect your financial future for the rest of your life. Now, job seekers from all kinds of career fields can use these plans: sales, manufacturing, operations, accounting, administrative assistants, engineering, IT, nursing, pharmacy, marketing, logistics, architecture, finance, insurance, laboratory, healthcare, retail, law. We even had someone get a job at Walt Disney World using this. There is no white-collar job this plan won't help you get the offer for. The plan works for people at all levels, from brand new grads to individual contributors to managers, executives, directors, and C-level folks. No matter what field you're in, what level you're at, having a plan for success will show that hiring manager that it is a good decision and an easy decision to hire you. So when they're deciding between candidates, hiring managers don't want a coin toss. They really don't. They want a very clear winner. So you want to be that winner. To show the hiring manager that you're the clear winner, you need to do these things we talked about here today. You need to turn your resume into a marketing document, use the objective statement, the bullet points, and quantify. Stop applying for jobs. It's not working for you. It's not working. Don't be insane, like Einstein said, to do the same thing and expect a different result, right? And then answering those 4 critical questions by using the 30, 60, 90-day plan in your interview and communicating your value. Now, all of this is about selling yourself for the job. The job search is a sales process. You are the product for sale. You need someone to hire you. Your customer is the hiring manager. Your job is to show them your value and make them want to choose you. Now, the normal process of applying for jobs actually keeps you from your customer. You can't make a sale without talking to the person with the money in their pocket and the problem that needs to be solved. Now, this is a fundamental change and approach to your job search that's different than what you've probably ever done before. When job seekers use this concept and put these strategies into place, they go from struggling with no interviews, very discouraged, to getting interviews that they're excited about and getting job offers they love within weeks. Now, I told you that I was going to give you a chance at some additional training, and here it is. If you know that you need more help in this job search area because you're not where you need to be, then I have put together a perfect kit for you. You do not have to get this additional training. I want you to go and do everything I've taught you here today, but you will spend a lot more time and effort doing it, and you won't be guaranteed success. Not everyone has the time to figure this stuff out. If you know you need the help and you need the job immediately, here's how you get it. Remember that I told you 50 to 80% of all jobs aren't even advertised? The only way to find these jobs is to get in front of the hiring manager. This is an easy concept, but it can be very difficult to execute and it takes a lot of time. So what I've done is put together a tool or system that will do this very quickly for you, the Hidden Jobs Finder. It is a comprehensive, foolproof system that will uncover hidden jobs and put you in the front of the line for those. It helps you find and contact hundreds of hiring managers with clear, detailed, step-by-step instructions. It's going to take all the guesswork out of this, and it's going to keep you from making mistakes that set you back. Thousands of job seekers have used this tool, and they tell me that it helped them get great jobs they didn't even know existed, and it helped them get interviewed for those jobs. I personally developed this tool for job seekers so that you could find hundreds of hiring managers easily using Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Boolean searches, even telephone sourcing. If you want a truly comprehensive job search with no stone unturned, here's how you need to do it. You can use all of these methods. Each one has its own easy tutorial. This is the easiest way possible for you to find the names and emails of all the hiring managers that you need fast. Now, I've taught this method of finding and contacting hiring managers for several years, and everyone comes back with mainly the same types of things. I found 3 interviews in 3 weeks, or this helped me get more interviews than I had gotten in a year of job searching. Let me show you a few examples of how this searching looks, just so you can understand. Here are some IT sales managers on LinkedIn, and this one is for Director of Operations. And if I wanted to find accounting managers, these are guys only in DC area using Google, and Google can get very specific. Here are regional sales managers only in Chicago, only in medical. And if you were like an admin assistant or an office manager and you needed to find a VP, this was a great search looking for VPs only in New Jersey. Here's one that found accounting managers in Dallas on Facebook so that I could contact them through Facebook using Google. I could use Google Plus as well. Not only do you get the easy to follow instructions, but you're also going to get the instructions for what to say to them. You get phone scripts and dozens of sample email messages that are proven to get good responses from hiring managers. You can customize those so they sound like you and your personality. You will have a fresh, energetic, positive selling message in minutes with no muss, no fuss, no stress. Now, these messages will improve all of your communications with hiring managers through the cover letters, through emails, and follow-ups. You will be more professional and polished throughout the hiring process. With the Hidden Jobs Finder, you will never hit a dead end. You will always be able to uncover great jobs quickly and easily for the rest of your life. You can use this kit anytime that you need a new job. If at some point in the future you want to get a new job, maybe you're going to get downsized, you find yourself in a job you no longer like, or you need to relocate, you want to take some time off, or maybe the company's unstable, you will have the tool to find a new job. This is your ticket to unbelievable career freedom. Now, how much is career freedom worth for the rest of your life to you? If you're not looking that far ahead, that's okay. Let's just look at this particular job search. In the future, if you got laid off, you don't like your job or want a new one, you can come back to the Hidden Jobs Finder and start looking for a great opportunity. The Hidden Jobs Finder guarantees you that freedom. And for you, it's only $197. With the Hidden Jobs Finder, it's only $197, and you will have as many interviews as you want to go after. And because you're in this webinar today, I've even made this a better deal. Okay? If you invest in yourself and your career, I want to give you 3 additional bonuses. You will have to invest in the next 24 hours, but you will get 3 absolutely free additional bonuses to make sure that you get the interview and you get the offer. So I also want to let you know that if you decide to purchase, as with every product with Career Confidential, you'll have a 1-year, 100% money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason, you'll call us. We'll give you 100% of your money back up to 365 days from the day that you bought it. Okay? So there's no risk to you. Now let's talk about the first bonus. This is going to make sure that those hiring managers want to call you. I want you to have a perfect resume, one that stands you head and shoulders above the rest. So I'm going to give you my Extreme Resume Makeover Kit. Okay? With this, you'll get video coaching, detailed samples, a template. I share all of my tips and secrets, how to smooth out if you have too much experience or you don't have enough experience, and we'll be able to get the whole thing done in about an hour. It's going to save you a lot of time and frustration, and it's very easy. Now, more importantly, I'm even going to personally review your resume for you. So when you're done, you'll email it to me, I'll go over it, and I'll let you know if there's anything at all that you need to improve there. Now, earlier, 78% of you guys said that you wanted that personal review of your resume. This is how we can get that done. Okay? When you get it back, you're going to know that you have a strong resume that markets you. Now, we normally charge $74 for the Extreme Resume Makeover Kit, but you get it for free with the samples, the templates, and the coaching as your bonus number 1. Now, here's bonus number 2. Bonus number 2 is my very valuable LinkedIn profile tutorial. If you're in the job search, you must have a strong profile on LinkedIn. This tutorial will show you how to refine your profile so that it sells you like your resume does, with all the special rules that apply only in LinkedIn. Your profile will start attracting the attention from hiring managers and recruiters. They'll start contacting you, so you'll have yet another way to get interviews. Now, this tutorial sells on my website for $17, and you get it as a second bonus with the Hidden Jobs Finder. Now, if you get interviews, you're going to want to get that offer. And amazing how it would feel to get multiple offers. I want to make this happen for you. So I am including bonus number 3, which is the Job Interview Miracle Tool, the 30-60-90-day plan. Now, the 30-60-90-day plan is a step-by-step how-to kit that anyone can use. You'll get my detailed instructions on what to include in the plan, where to find it, how to use it in your interview. There are several key points in the interview where it's easy to introduce your plan, and I tell you when those are. I'll tell you what to say when you bring it up and how to respond to the hiring manager's questions about it. You're going to feel so confident using this tool in your interview. I've got this down to a science, which means that you get to benefit from all of the boots on the ground experience that we've had with this plan. You will have a plan that's proven to impress hiring managers. A complete fill-in-the-blank template to speed up the process. You'll have sample plans to look and learn from. You'll even have a PowerPoint template if you need a flashier presentation. All of this means that you have the strongest, most impressive plan than you can ever do on your own. Now, Just like the Extreme Resume Makeover Kit, I want to review this plan for you when you get it done. So you'll send it in to me, I'll look it over and give you feedback, and you'll know for sure that it'll be a plan that will make it an easy decision to hire you. And when we talked about that, 80% of you guys said you'd like to have me review that plan for you and know that it is a strong plan that will absolutely crush in the interview. I want to share with you Patrice's story. Patrice actually edged out candidates with more experience using the 30, 60, 90-day plan, and the skills that she learned have extended outside of the interview and hiring process and into other areas of her life. Who knew? I love that. So look at that. So if you're a new grad, you're changing careers, you need a boost in that confidence, you need to be able to show your value, this plan will help you do that. We talked about Jesse. He said he felt like the undefeated champion of the world. He felt great coming out of the interview. Now, he was offered a different position that actually was more than what he was thinking he would get, plus benefits, and he's got an annual salary review as well. Imagine how good it must feel to say that you feel like the undefeated champion of the world. You're going to perform better in the interview when you have that kind of confidence. Now, you may not have thought about investing in training for your job search, but think about this. If you had a pest problem in your house, you'd call an exterminator. If you had a tax problem, you'd call an accountant. If your car wouldn't start, you'd call a mechanic, right? The exterminator keeps the termites from destroying your house. The accountant keeps the IRS from your front door, and the mechanic keeps you from having to replace your entire engine. The Hidden Jobs Finder and these 3 bonuses are the same idea, but for your job search. So like Derek, Patrice, Jesse, and thousands of other job seekers, you can have an expert look under the hood and solve this problem for you and get you on the road to the job that you would love. Now, you might be thinking, well, Peggy, I can absolutely see that these tools would make a difference and get me interviews and offers, but I'm out of a job. I don't know if I can afford $197. But I want you to think about this. If you make $30,000 a year, if you're able to shave just 4 weeks off your job search, you're going to put an additional $2,500 in your pocket. If you usually make $60,000 a year, you're going to get an extra $5,000 in your bank account by shaving 1 month off of your job search. If you made $120,000 a year when you're employed and you shave 4 weeks off your search, that'll be $10,000 for you and your family. And this happens all the time. A small investment now will pay off big financially and personally for you, just like it did when you went to training or you went to college or you learned a new skill set. So for the next 24 hours, you can get the Hidden Jobs Finder plus all 3 bonuses as an exclusive offer only for those of you here on the webinar. Now, the way that you get to this, I'm going to go through this a little bit more and then we're about to get to our live Q&A. The way that you get to this is the link is in the chat, so you can click on it there at the very top, right? Or you can go over to the pop-ins tab and Carl has put it in there. You just click the add to cart button and it'll take you over to that page as well. Okay, so let's go over this again. The Hidden Jobs Finder is $197. For those of you who are on this webinar today, you'll get an additional 3 bonuses to make certain that you get the offer that you need and want. Okay, you get the Extreme Resume Makeover Kit. We usually charge $74 for that, plus my review of your resume. The LinkedIn Profile Tutorial normally sells for $17. The 30, 60, 90-day plan sells for $97 typically. If you were to purchase all of these things on my website today, you would pay a total of $385. But for you guys, for the next 24 hours, you can get the entire $385 value for only $197, which means it's almost half price. Now, I want to add one more bonus here, guys, because we have a tool. Charity, can you take us to the page where it shows the job interview questions and answers videos? I'm not sure if you're able to do that or not, but we have 50 job interview questions with answers. We charge 99 cents for those on our website every day. More than 500,000 people have used these job interview question and answer videos to train themselves so that they can answer those questions in the interview more effectively. So what I want to do is I want to give you, if you purchase this Hidden Jobs Finder today, before midnight today, you're going to get all of these bonuses that we just talked about, plus the 50 questions and thank you, Charity. The 50 questions and answers videos. She's showing you these question and answer videos right here. See that first question? Tell me about yourself. Why do you want to join this company? Why have you been out of work so long? So I ask you the question, you can try your answer, then you can listen to my answer. It's a great way to practice and get ready for those interviews. So if you purchase before midnight today, you'll get this additional bonus. Now, we won't be able to put this into your toolkit until tomorrow morning, but we will do it at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow morning. So just to be clear, go back to our slides for us, Charity. You get the Hidden Jobs Finder, the Extreme Resume Makeover Kit, my personal review of your resume, the LinkedIn profile tutorial, the 30, 60, 90-day plan, plus my review of your completed plan, all with 100% money-back guarantee. And if you purchase today, you get the additional 50 questions and answers video training, and we will put that into your membership tab tomorrow morning. Now, you can have all 4 tools, the Hidden Jobs Finder, the 3 bonuses today. There's no waiting. There's no shipping charges. It's all electronically delivered and instantly accessible. As soon as you purchase, you'll get an email with your exclusive membership and login passwords. Now with that, you'll go to my site and log in and have instant access to everything. You could be contacting hiring managers tomorrow, going to interviews next week. If you see that this will move you towards your goal of getting a job and putting money back in your pocket, and you know you need someone to look under the hood and tell you what's going on, then I want you to get out your credit card. We take MasterCard, Visa, or Discover. We're a completely secure website like Amazon, and we do not share your information with anyone. Click on the Add to Cart button. It'll take you to the page where you'll fill out your information, click on the place order, and you're done. Now, after you submit your credit card and it clears, we'll send you an email with your exclusive login credentials and your username and password. Your tools will be in the membership section of our website. You log in there with the credentials, watch the instruction videos, browse through the tools and resources, watch the training videos, print out the templates, download the handouts. I set it up this way so that you would have access to your tools and training from any internet connected computer in the world, and you do not have to pay for or wait for shipping, so that you'll have your tools immediately. So let's get you guys a job quick. All of this training does exactly what I'm telling you it will do, and this is what you need to do to give yourself an advantage in the job search. There is just no way for you to understand what a difference this will make for you until you try it and you see for yourself. Now, remember that I said that everyone here would be eligible to win a spot in a 10-person, 1-hour group coaching call. Now is that time. We have a list of everyone who's on the call right now. We will randomly choose 10 winners from that list. Now, we will not announce the names. We will send an email to the winners in a few hours notifying you that you've won and the details of that call. Now, I'd like to congratulate the winners in advance and say that I'm looking forward to speaking with you. If you don't win and you're disappointed because you need some personalized advice, I want to encourage you to investigate either purchasing some coaching time with me. You can send me an email at peggy@careerconfidential.com. Let me know that you want to get some coaching time. I do charge $250 an hour. I do have a special. If you're on this webinar and you purchase 2 hours of my time, I will give you the 3rd hour for free. Most people, I would say 70%, only need 3 hours of time with me. There are others who either want to get really drilled down on a skill set that they want to do better at, or they have a very specific issue that they're dealing with. Possibly they're going for a major interview and they just want to make sure that they knock it out of the park. Will spend more time with me, but probably 60 to 70% of the people only spend 3 hours with me because that's all it takes. Now, if you can't afford the one-on-one coaching, or you're not sure you need that much time, but you do want to be able to ask questions and you want to be able to participate with us, join our Total Access Coaching Club. This is a fantastic opportunity for you. This club, we get together every other week. We'll actually be getting together tomorrow on our first call. Or not our first call, but on our weekly or bi-weekly call. It's on Thursday. It's usually at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. I'm going to give a short presentation on a job search relevant topic, and then I will go through and answer every question from everyone that's in that Total Access Coaching Club. And the greatest part about this is Carl, my partner, has recorded those, archived them, and made them searchable by topic, which will allow you to go through. There's over 100 hours of these calls that you can steep yourself in this job search vernacular.
Hello? Guys, I'm sorry we had a little bit of a technical difficulty. It looks like Peggy
Hey,
and
Carl. Hey, Carl, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Peggy.
Okay. It kicked me out of the call. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And Charity's not here either, so we
Yep,
don't
it
have
kicked
any.
her out too. But we are at the live Q&A, so what I'll do is I'm up on webcam if you want to make me available to the other folks, and I'll go ahead and go over to the questions.
You're up on live webcam now, Peggy.
Perfect. Okay. Well, guys, sorry about that. I got kicked out of the webinar there for a second, and now I'm back, though. Hopefully you can see me up on webcam. Hello, Charity, you need to turn off your webcam. We can see that. And I have a bunch of questions here, so it looks like we must have hit on a hot topic. People are very interested in this. Okay, so here we go. Ayina. How do I know the hiring manager's contact information? They usually keep it secret until you go to the interview. Ayina, first of all, thank you so much for your question. I'm glad you're here today. You'll have to look for that title. And you won't know for sure that you're getting the exact hiring manager, but if you're getting the person who could be your boss or your boss's boss, that person will know who to forward your information to. So that should set you up. Hopefully, Ayina, you heard that answer. That's how you learn who that hiring manager is before you ever go to the interview. So I've got another person here who says, hey, how do you tailor your cover letter using this approach if you don't know what the job opening could be? Well, tailor the cover letter to the type of job that they should be considering you for. If you are an accounts payable person, then your cover letter should be talking about accounts payable. If you're in sales, your cover letter should be talking about sales. You understand what I'm saying? Hopefully that helps. I've got Naraja. How to communicate with the hiring manager once I find their contact. I mean, what to say to them. Naraja, a lot of people really struggle with this. In fact, sometimes when I look at people's messages, they actually sabotage themselves in their own cover letter. So I'm glad you're asking this question. And that's why you need to get that Hidden Jobs Finder. Remember, we showed you that messaging appendix, more than 30 pages of proven messages that will make you communicate at a higher level than you would otherwise, and it will make sure that your messages are effective. So hopefully that helps you out. Okay, Alina, Peggy, what if the manager is limited with their time and has no time to go through the 30, 60, 90-day plan? Well, Alina, that is a perfect time to ask for another meeting so that you could go through that plan with him. By the way, that will be demonstrating your communication skills, your confidence, and your resource utilization. So it's a great opportunity for you. Okay, I've got another question here. Ritwick. Peggy, many interviews are conducted over the phone. Do you suggest sending the plan by email in advance for those phone interviews? Ritwick, I don't want you to present your 30, 60, 90-day plan over the phone. It's too difficult. It's very hard to do that. So I don't think that's the best plan for you. You want to try to get to the phone through the phone interview and get to the face-to-face interview. And you know, while you do that, I'm going to go and get the link to my Amazon page, because I have one of my books is there free today, and I wanted to give you guys that link. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Maybe I can find it a different way here. Hold on. Okay, so here we go. I'm coming back over here to the webinar, and I'll put this in chat so that you'll have the link to my Amazon page. Okay, there you go. So there is a free ebook on Amazon right now, free for you guys. It's How to Answer Interview Questions. It is a second volume to one of our most popular books, and it is ranked #1 in the world for job interview with Amazon. So I want to encourage you guys, and this is a link that you could use to, you could share this link in your LinkedIn profile, you could share this in your Facebook, you could share it with people that you know that are going to be looking for an interview, because it's a free ebook. Everybody likes to get those free ebooks, right? Especially when they're #1 for job interview. Okay, we got another question here. What if I'm 64 years old, should I point that out in my cover letter? No, you should not point that out in your cover letter. Unless you believe that your age is going to hold you back, don't bring it up. We only want to talk about those things that are going to support you in your candidacy for the role. You want to get the interview so that they can see how you could be valuable in their job, and they'll make you the offer. Okay? Deborah. Peggy, are you still a recruiter? And if so, how may I retain your recruiting services? Deborah, I am still a recruiter. I do specialize in medical sales management, and in marketing. Typically, Candidates don't hire me. Companies hire me to recruit for them. If you want me to help you with your job search, the best way to get that if you want personalized assistance is to get that one-on-one coaching time that I talked about. Just message my office and let them know that you're interested, and they'll send you a link so that you can sign up. Okay, I've got another. Peggy, can you show us an example of the 30, 60, 90-day plan? I don't have an example here. It can be fairly simple. It could be as small as a 4-page document. It'd have a title page. It would have, then the next page would be the 30-day part. The next page would be the 60-day part, and the next page would be the 90-day part. The tough part is thinking about all of the activities that need to be done in that job and which ones are the ones that you should put on the plan and all of those things. It's really difficult. With my plan, you can easily put together the most impressive plan that's proven to impress the hiring manager, and you can do it in less than an hour or two. If you do this on your own, it's going to take hours and hours, and like I said, you run the risk of not having a good plan like what I described, where someone thought that they were doing a plan, but it was really a why should you hire me, and that doesn't work as well. The plan works because it's not about you, it's about them and their problem and how you'll solve that problem, okay? Okay, I got another question here. Hey Barb. Hi Barb, how are you doing? Barb wants to know, should you leave the plan with the hiring manager after discussing it? If you have discussed it in the interview, then you could leave it with him. If you do not discuss it with him, do not leave it with him, because you won't get the value from it. If he says he doesn't have enough time, I think Alina was the one that was asking, what about if we run out of time? If he says, I don't have enough time to go through this again, then what you should say is, can we set up another time where we can go through the plan later? Can we meet tomorrow? Can we meet next week? When can we meet so that we can go through my plan for attacking this role? That's very impressive to hiring managers. Okay, Danette. Danette, how are you doing today? Danette says, how do you present in your cover letter that you're willing to relocate to another state? Okay. In your cover letter, you could say that you're willing to relocate. You could put willing to relocate in your resume underneath your address. The other thing is, if you know you're going to relocate, let's say like I had a person who knew they were going to relocate to Denver, so I advised them to go ahead and get a Denver address. If they didn't need relocation funds, they want to make it look like they're already there, easily employable, right? So you might think about that, Danette. Got another question. Should I make a different CV for each job description? I don't think so. Your CV should be probably the same, but maybe different objectives. If you're in accounting, then it's an accounting CV, right? You're not going to be in accounting or sales, right? Or that would be difficult, I think. So the CV that you have is the same. You'll need to change the objective if you are looking at different kinds of roles there. But like for the person who is in medical, you could say seeking a sales role within medical or healthcare, seeking an accounts management role in a high-paced organization, seeking an administrative assistant role in a retail position. You could that's how you can set your objective up. I hope that helps. Well, we got a lot of questions. That's great. You guys are active here. How do you approach companies if you want to work from home rather than in the office? Well, you can approach them, and you could say seeking a telecommuting position, seeking a work-for-home opportunity. And a great way to do this is to get on Elance or Odesk, because you can get little jobs there that can actually turn into full-time roles. In fact, I know that we've done that with Career Confidential. We've hired someone full-time from using them within Elance or LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn, Odesk. Here's another question, Danette. How can you present yourself that you're motivated to move and not just wasting their time? Well, so going back to what we said before, Danette, let them know willing to relocate underneath the location in your resume, maybe even possibly getting that address so that you already got the address of the location that you're going to be at. Okay. I think we're getting close to the end of the questions here. Let's see if there's something that's different. Should a resume be kept in one page? This is Ayena. Or is 2 pages acceptable? Ayena, 2 pages is completely acceptable. If you have no experience at all, maybe 1 page. But most folks are going to have a 2-page resume. If you have more than a 2-page resume, you need to think about that. Are you an author? Are you a publisher? Are you an inventor? Do you have a lot of technologies listed? Are you a CEO? Maybe you have 20 to 30 years of relevant experience. That might require more than 2 pages on your resume, right? Okay, do I think email or phone calls are better for contacting the hiring manager? I think emails are better for contacting the hiring managers. Phone calls are fantastic after the email, but you need the email to set the base. They've seen your resume. If you are interesting to them at all, they'll remember you when you call them as well. Okay, we got a few more questions here. Deb, what if you don't know the direction to go for employment and have a long sales career but want out? My 5-year goal is truly to retire. Well, Deb, you need to keep that to yourself, and you've got to find a job that's going to meet your goals, okay? If you've been doing sales, I think you should do sales for the next 5 years because you're going to be good at it, right? But you can do anything you want. You just have to decide what is that going to be, set that up in your resume, and then contact those people who want to hire that kind of person, that thing that you're looking for, okay? Eleanor, does your material cover English locations and contacts as much as America? Eleanor, I'm so glad you asked that question. Our material works anywhere you live in the world. We've had an Italian engineer living in Spain get a job in the UK using this. We've had folks from Dubai, from England, from Ireland, from Iceland, from Finland, from Sweden, Switzerland, Singapore, Thailand, Australia, Egypt. We've had people all over the world use this. It works in every country because the concepts are the same. Just like the resume does the same job in every language, contacting these hiring managers and showing your value is the same throughout the world. Business is business, right? Okay, Tony, a company recruiter emailed me a question about my resume yesterday. Should I have included another cover letter and tried to pitch myself in the email? Should I go back and try to contact her again? You know, Tony, I'd call her. If she asked you a question, that is a little bit of a buying signal. I want you to go ahead and call her back and say, hey, I sent you an answer, but then I got to thinking about it. I'd love to just chat with you. Why don't you tell me about what you're struggling with, what you need right now, and if I'm the right person, I'll let you know, and if I'm not, maybe I can tell you who is. That's a great way to do that, okay? Danette, I missed the information about the group coaching. How do we do that? If you purchase, you're going to be invited to a group coaching call. You may be invited to a group coaching call if you win. We're going to draw 10 winners. If you want the personalized coaching, you can email me at peggy@careerconfidential.com, and we'll give you the link for buying the one-on-one coaching if that's what you would like. Okay. Okay, Robin is the one who asked about the work from home, and she has another question. She says, the question is, I said something about e-something, but she didn't hear the word. It's Elance, Robin, Elance, ELANCE.com, elance.com, or odesk.com. There's another site, but I haven't used it. I think it's called freelancer.com. I haven't used that, so I can't speak to that, but we do use Elance and Odesk, and we do like those quite a lot. Okay, Win says, after you submit yourself to the organization, what's considered appropriate frequency for follow-ups? It's a great question. I want you to follow up every 7 to 10 days, but not on an application, Win. I hope that you're talking about contacting the hiring manager directly and then contacting him every 7 to 10 days after that to find out where he's at and what's going on. Even a quick email will really work for you there, okay? All right. I think we've answered all of the questions, guys. We're an hour and 20 minutes into this. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm going to take myself off a webcam here in just a moment, and then I'll start talking to you about the resource pages. Okay, so first of all, you have the links for getting the kit, the Hidden Jobs Finder with these additional bonuses. Remember, you've got to buy today before midnight, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in order to take advantage of the additional 50 job interview question and answer videos. So I want to encourage you to do that. You've got the purchase link in chat. You also have it in the pop-ins tab. Let's see, I don't see it in the pop-ins tab, Carl. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe because we got kicked out or something? Maybe can you put that in there again? For some reason I don't see it, but I think
it is in there for everyone else, Peggy.
What'd you say?
It's in there for everyone else.
Oh, so it has to do with me getting kicked out, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
So you've got the link in the pop-ins tab. You've got the link in the chat. My webinars, if you want to come to more of our webinars or know about what our schedule is, go to careerconfidential.com/training-webinars. You can also learn more about my personal coaching. You can email us at Peggy@careerconfidential if you're interested in the additional coaching. I want to tell you about the Total Access Coaching Club. This is one of my most popular products that we have. We get together every other week on a Thursday. We're going to be together tomorrow on Thursday at 12 Central Standard Time, 1 Eastern Standard Time. And in that call, I'm going to give a short job search presentation, and then after that I'm going to take and I'll answer every question from the members of the Total Access Coaching Club. So if you want to have that one-on-one, have the ability to where you can get your questions answered every other week, the way to do that is in the Total Access Coaching Club. Okay? Now remember, if you want to contact my office and talk to us on the phone, please do so. Our phone number here, if you're inside the United States, is 800-691-2562. Again, 800-691-2562. If you're outside the United States, it's 972-382-3139. Now, please take everything that we've talked about here today, put it into practice. If you use our tool, we're going to be here for you to make it easier and faster, and it's going to take all of the worry out of the process. You'll borrow my expertise and my confidence, and you're going to have a great job search that's going to end with an awesome job. And you're going to feel a lot less stressed out about your job search. Now, we've talked about all of this. There's 3 reasons why we see people not getting the interviews that they need. Your cover letter isn't strong enough. You're not selling yourself in it. Your resume isn't strong enough. It doesn't communicate your value. It's not representing you as a candidate. Or you're applying for jobs, but you're not getting in front of the hiring manager. Now, this bundle of tools is going to solve all 3 of these issues for you. It's going to help you get the interviews that you need, and you're going to perform better in those interviews than you ever have before, and you'll get job offers consistently. So, click the Add to Cart button either in the pop-ins or in the chat and get going now. You could be contacting hiring managers tomorrow, interviewing next week. So I'm going to wish all of you the very best of luck in your job search, and I look forward to receiving an email from you telling me how you landed a great job. Now what's going to happen here is when I close out of the webinar, Carl is going to redirect you, or try to redirect you over to the page where you can learn more about the Hidden Jobs Finder with those bonuses, so you'll have access to that. I really appreciate your time, guys. You've almost been on here an hour and a half. A great audience. Thank you so much for your time. Please do share that Amazon link, share our webinars link with other folks. Let them know about this so that we can help them as well. I wish you the best of luck, and I look forward to receiving that great email from you soon. Bye, guys.